Welcome to Paperweights, the podcast where two self-proclaimed gym rats and shooting enthusiasts delve into the world of literature with a sprinkle of humor. Although their biceps could crush a walnut, don't let that intimidate you. They also have a nerdy side. Mike and Brandon have a voracious appetite for reading, particularly in the fantasy genre, and they want to share their passion with you. So grab your protein shake and your favorite novel and join us for a humorous and insightful journey into the world of books with Paperweights.
Welcome back to another episode of the Paperweights. I am your host, Brandon.
And Justin.
And today we are continuing our discussion of The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch. We're about the second quarter of the book that we covered page-wise. So there should be a fun conversation. But before we get into it, we are sponsored by a local Louisiana small business that specializes in men's grooming products, mostly beard care products, Mudcat Whiskers. You can visit them at their website, www.mudcatwhiskers.com. Place an order. At checkout, you can use code Paperweights and you'll save yourself 15%. I personally use the beard wash and conditioner and the balm and oils. He also sells candles and most recently has started a line of colognes in this sense. So go ahead and check them out. We like to support our local and small businesses. They really help give back to communities where they are, much more so than the big box places. So, if it's within your budget and you have those sentiments, then support where you can.
Yeah, and I just got my first purchase. Came in. I also got a really nice handwritten note from him. So I don't know if he does that for everybody, but yeah.
He does. It's a nice little touch.
Yeah, so it's very, very cool. They smell good so far. I've been enjoying it. So
Nice.
I think it's a worthwhile product.
Awesome. Glad
And
we got
the code, so it works. I can verify that it works.
Yeah, it does. It does work. So alrighty. Man,
I just want to do a quick PSA. I recently found out that the library is really cool. You can get audiobooks and regular books online, and also they have like streaming services. Canopy is the one we can use. I don't know if that's in every state, but like you just need your library card and you can like stream. It has movies and shit like that. So PSA to everybody that wants to save a couple bucks because audiobooks are expensive and streaming services are cool. So check it out. Library is fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had streaming services for movies and stuff.
Yeah, it's called Canopy, at least the one in East Baton Rouge Parish. You just need your library card number, and you get like 30 tickets a month. So you can there's like a lot of good movies on there too.
So you can watch like 30 movies?
Yeah, basically.
Is there like a expiration time when you start a movie, or can you rewatch
I think you get it 72 hours.
Okay.
And then like you could re-rent it or whatever.
It would just take another ticket.
Yeah, I think the tickets renew every month. So I mean, we're paying for it in taxes, so we should use it. I had no idea about it either. And yeah, like I was doing like the where to stream it at, and like I was like Canopy, what the hell is that? I clicked on it, and I was like, enter your library card. I was like, okay. It's like, yeah, you can just watch it. And like,
Nice.
they have like good movies like Train to Busan, and the producers is on it. It's just a lot of stuff. So check it out.
Yeah, my wife has been using the library card to listen to audiobooks on Libby. And there's another one that she does. But in the parish we live, our library out here isn't as great. Fortunately, there is a companion, like we can go into East Baton Rouge Parish and show them our library card for our parish, and they'll be like, "Oh, okay," and they'll issue us a library card for East Baton Rouge. So,
That's cool. Yeah.
um, yeah, and I think the other parishes around the area you could do that too. So
Yeah, and like, when you kind of don't think about it because you're like, oh, I'm an adult, I have money, but like Audible is like $16 and you just get one credit. So if you want to save a credit or check out a book, so it's a good resource. And I just for some reason I'm just like, oh, I'm an adult, I have money, and it's like, wait, I could save a bunch of money by using the library. So just a quick PSA about that. It's really cool.
I like to save money where I can.
Exactly, and read more books.
Yes. Now I also will spend money if it's something I actually just want to do.
Hmm.
Um, I'll spend the money on it. Or if so, like, if my friend is and does a certain business where it's like, okay, he trims trees and he gives me a quote, and it's like, okay, well, maybe I could find another one, but in that case, I'll be like, I'm not even gonna really bother if I think, like, if I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, it's worth paying that so I don't have to do it, then, I'll just pay my friend whatever it is
Yeah.
to do it instead of seeking a second opinion. So, but hey, don't come after me and take advantage of me. I'll put you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the principle of capitalism. My mom always said, if you like something, you got to pay for it because then you'll keep getting it.
Yeah,
That's how capitalism works.
yeah.
So,
That's
yeah.
why I always go support the local wherever I am, and when I travel and everything, go to like uh local craft breweries and distilleries and things like that. Because I may not make a difference versus however many people go, but if everybody else that considered going to any of those places good, I'm not gonna make a difference, then all of a sudden 50
Yeah.
percent of the people that would have gone decided that they wouldn't because they wouldn't make a difference, and then the place is closing. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
always make a difference.
Yes. You
So
always matter.
yes, except in we're not going to get into politics. There's enough politics in in this book.
True.
So let's see. Was there anything else? I do apologize. I'm dealing with a headache today. Um, I got hit in the back of the head, crown of the head during jujitsu today. Um, I didn't get a concussion or anything, but it did, like, I've got a knot back here now. It was just the strangest thing because it didn't even hurt during. Like, the guy was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "We're good. Let's
He he
continue our fight." Like,
he armbarked you.
no, it was actually his chin. Like, his
Ooh,
chin hit me. So I don't
man,
know if his chin hurts, but
rough.
yeah, when I left jujitsu, I was just like, I've got a bump on my head now. So, um, hold on 1 second. Um, and so anyway, um, let's let's get going into here. So, um, I know you had some power outage issues the past few days, so I will be covering the uh, summaries, and let's hope we don't get too much into the weeds here. Keep it about the same length that we've been doing. So we're going to start with chapter 4, Across the Amethel. We pick up where we left off at the end of the last section. The ritual ends now, and Patience, like, she promises Locke that he is no longer poisoned. Like, she's like, I can't speak for anything else, but I could definitely tell you that you're not poisoned anymore.
Yeah, it's really funny. He basically has Matt's illness from Wheel of Time, where
Oh yeah,
he just has to eat everything or he's gonna die. I don't know if that's like a reference, but it's really funny because
that is.
it's basically the exact same thing.
I didn't even pick up on that until you said that. But yeah, he's hungry and thirsty. Um, Cold marrow. comes up, cleans up all the dream steel that's on his body, and like Patience tries to be like, hey, and these are my other constituents, and starts to name names, and Locke's like, I don't need to know their names. Like, get away with this. Um, then Locke and Jean get into a theological debate about the afterlife, and if Locke just like imagined Bug in his fever dream state, or if it was just like a fever dream. Um, Kind of reminds me of spoilers for Harry Potter, but if you haven't read that yet, but the end where Harry asks Dumbledore, "Is this real or is it in my mind?" And he's like, "Well, it's real, but just because something's in your mind, does that make it not real?" It's
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of relates to
He does
that.
the Obi-Wan. To a certain point of view, your father was dead. Uh,
Eh,
there is a decent amount of Harry Potter in this section, which is kind of fun. Because like the opposition party is basically Voldemort. They're like, we're gonna rule the Muggles, and the other party's like, nah, we're gonna be cool. We're gonna be not quite benevolent to the Muggles, but we just don't want to rule the Muggles. It's kind of funny.
I may have skipped over that, but
The
uh,
the exceptionalists or whatever, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so Patience has now set up a cabin and wardrobe for Locke. And then he starts his line of question, his first line of questioning to Patience. Um, they they end up having a philosophical discussion about why the bonds magi serve and they don't rule. Is this where you were getting into that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like the other party is like they're like the minority, but they're like, we could rule them. And the other people are like, nah, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, there's like more progressive. There's like a progressive one and a conservative one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's also kind of like vampires. It's like we should rule the humans or we should like blend in with them. Um, it's a variation of that kind of trope or storyline.
yeah. Speaking of Harry Potter, sorry, this is an aside, but
Mm.
Jules and I watched the first Fantastic Beasts movie over the weekend, and I'd watched it before, back when it came out. I don't think I had rewatched it until now. I think it is a pretty solid film.
I never watched any of those. Just like a billion of them now, right? There's like three or four.
There's three of them. Overall, they didn't do too good. Sorry, my daughter is sending me text messages. Um, so anyway, hold on one second. All right. All right. So Lock and John are now part of the 5-year game. So they are now afforded certain protections from like being attacked and killed or poisoned or whatever. Patience uses Dream Steel to show Locke a vision, and then shows Jean next. Like Jean's like sitting there watching, is like, oh, okay, and it like seemed to take like a split second. So
Yeah,
this next section is basically a pensieve, um, and
yeah,
so like Jean basically takes the place of Patience in this memory.
yeah. They're basically doing like a pensive or like an animus from Assassin's Creed and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which is cool. This
And
this
so
section this section is really fun.
yeah, I really like this section. So they go into end up with a meeting of the bonds bad guy inside of the sky chamber, which is like this underground meeting area, but the ceiling is painted to look like the sky. Um, and I can't remember. I don't remember if it's reflective of what the weather is outside, but I do know that the light on the ceiling from the ceiling darkens and brightens based on if the assembly agrees or disagrees with whatever the speaker is saying, which is pretty cool. Little ambiance there. So they're discussing in this memory, they're discussing the black contract that Luciano and Anatolius, or the Gray Mage, has brought to the Bonds Magi for basically killing the entire nobility uh,
Come on.
class of Camor, the events of Book One. And so first they get a philosophical debate. There's a lot of philosophy going on, debates and
Yeah.
everything in this section. Arises about whether or not it's immoral to accept a black contract of this magnitude. They end up like um, putting aside, like, hey, we're not going to discuss whether it's lawful or not. Let's discuss whether it's acceptable. There's no reason for us to deny it. Um,
Yeah.
and leave the morality up to the person that's asking for the contract. Basically, we are tools for somebody to use, and we are, you know, we are the gun somebody uses to shoot somebody else. The
Yeah.
morality falls with the person that's pulling the trigger, not with the tool. Um, Never mind that they are supposedly humans, so they have a conscience as well. But hey, that's what they decided that their society is. Um, and ultimately, Patience ends up finding no valid reason to deny the contract. And she kind of got giddy when Falconer basically assigned himself to the contract.
Yeah, it seems like she had like a prophecy or something where she was like, "Oh, you're gonna die."
You're gonna die, so I'll let you do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, yeah, I did like the discussion. They're like is like the Upper and Cremor will be like contained, and it'll probably like reestablish the city in a little bit. So it's like not really that big of a deal. Like it's not gonna like break the entire like world or something. It's just gonna be like a little blip in Cremor for a couple of years where a lot of people die. That's fine. It was very cold blooded. It was fun.
yeah. So then we move on. Jean comes back out. He thought it was kind of gave him the chills that the words came out of his mouth in the memory. Um, and we learned that Patience also kind of has some regret or some remorse for those words as well. Um, then they ask why the Falconer hates her so much, and she basically ends up explaining the difference between gray names and red names, and the fact that the Falconer's father passed away before, um, well, when he was a kid. And so she had to give him his name. But usually, what would happen is the Muggle father or Muggle parent would name the child the red name, and then they would use a different name. So there was a lot of resentment with Falconer and Patience for her knowing his red name the entire time without him having a say. So basically, a consent issue. Um,
Yeah.
and
It seems a little weird that they're so powerful. Like he couldn't just like mind wipe that little part of her brain. Just be like, I'm cool. Um,
yeah, well, I mean, they
I
I
mean,
should
maybe she
have to
doesn't
agree
want.
with it, but
True, yeah, but like maybe she didn't want him potentially breaking into her mind like that. But yeah,
yeah, we do learn that Bonds Magi, the magic is not hereditary. Um, in fact, Falconer was only the fifth in 400 years to be born a mage from a mage parent. So um, next we have Patience explaining that the basically the Eldrin are not, about 20,000 lived like 20,000 years ago, and basically said, hey, they're not around because there was something bigger than them that scared them off, whether they died or they ran away. And so the Bonds Magi keep their abilities on the down low in the world so that it doesn't draw that same attention as their whole thought process. And then she goes on to explain how the 5-year plan works, where basically each faction is randomly assigned a party. You have the Black Irises or the Deep Roots. Um, and so your faction may not have the same party year after year. In fact, Patience's faction won the last few years, but they were with the opposite party. She was with the Black Irises in the past, and now she's with the Deep Roots. Um, she gives them each a scroll with their identities on it for who they're going to be in the party, and reveals that she also knows that there is a spy among her group that is relaying information to the other faction. And then the final reveal is that uh, the opposing faction has hired Sabbatha as their what was that term they used?
Exemplar.
Exemplar, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
good.
I find the Eldrin stuff really cool. It's very cosmic horror, Lovecraftian. You know, these like ancient beings that use too much magic and kind of potentially awoken something in the cosmos that came to kill them and they had to run away. It's fun. I don't know if that will ever like come up. I want him to write like a Lovecraftian novel would be cool. Um,
I think he has the writing chops to pull that off.
yeah,
So
because yeah, um,
I mean, we've
yeah, it's
seen bits of it from like the night market scene in the last one.
yeah, and like I find a lot of the world really cool and interesting. I don't feel like this story is like where it's told. It's more like trappings around it to make the world interesting. So I would like I would like lots of spin-offs to this story.
Yeah, he definitely expands the world a whole lot with each book that he's been putting out. This one seems more. I think the plot in this one it's definitely more simplified than the plot in book two. Um,
Yeah.
unless we get to some twists coming up in the second half of the book, but everything seems pretty straightforward, and then we just get to see how they play against each other.
Yeah.
Um, but I think this one is more world expansion than actual like plot. I'm fine with it. It's fun to read and find out. So
Yeah. I would say personally, so far this has been my favorite one.
favorite
Just
book?
yeah. But just because it's more character driven. I've said in the past how I didn't really connect with Locke. I feel like he's much more of a character in this book, much more interesting with, his relationship with Sabbatha and his relationship with Jean and like learning about how we'll get to this later, but how he tried to like mimic Father Chains when he died and stuff like that. So I really like because I've always I think I'm way more of a like a character driven reader. Um, and like plot. That's why some of like the interludes and like uh the Stormlight stuff doesn't really hit me that much because I'm like I don't care about these people. The plot stuff is kind of cool and the Stormlight stuff is kind of cool, but it's not. I want to get back to Adolin or Kaladin or whatever. So like this has hit me more, just because it's much more of a personal story so far than like the other two.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, one thing with me is I have a hard time actually, excuse me, ranking things in any specific order. Usually when I say, "Hey, that's," I never really say that's my favorite. I always be that's one of my favorites. And I I like it. I haven't there hasn't been a moment in here where I'm like, ugh. I mean, book two and book one, there was sections that had a little lull in them.
Yeah,
Um, this one there hasn't been one yet. I like that like book two was kind of so I like the I was thinking about it at towards the end when they actually met with Sabbatha again, and Jean was starting to like think about it and connect things. So the fact that we had book two, which was kind of like Jean's romance book, and so Jean actually built a romance and then lost it. And so that gives him context for how Locke had felt the previous two times um, that Sabbatha had gone, and now she's back. And so he's like, he might be like, otherwise, he might be like, Locke, yes, she was one of us, but this is our opposition now. Like, get your head out of your ass.
Yeah,
But now it's like, oh, well, I lost Esri, and I would jump on the chance to see her come back. So that kind of that's a nice character relationship thing that's going on there. Um,
yeah, yeah. It's just more interpersonal and like instead of just like this amorphous plan. And like we're probably gonna get into the meat of like the political drama and machinations, which is gonna be fun. Um, but I do like the more personal storylines so far, and like the callbacks to book one because I like all of them. I think book one's really good. I think book two is really fun if a little flawed. But so yeah, I'm liking this so far. Just the way it's the more personal story,
yeah. All
and
right.
the flashbacks are fun too. Speaking of,
Before we move on to the interlude, there was one quote that I laughed out loud about. It says, "Listen, if you walk into a whorehouse and find yourself getting sucked off, it's because you put some money on the counter, not because the gods transported a pair of lips to your cock."
that's an image.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Interlude, striking sparks. Um, so Locke ends up waking up uh, from a spicy dream with Sabbatha. He falls out of the cot, knocks over books, wakes up all of the bastards.
Yeah, a little awkward to read
Yeah. I was like, damn, he's getting into spicy now, huh?
for
Like,
like a 16-year-old or whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
it's like okay, fine.
Um, so then all of them like come in the room and like uh, Chains ends up waking up as well. They're not too happy. Like I think the Sansa twins were the first ones that woke up and were uh,
Yeah, they're all hormones all the time, and Father Change is really regretting taking a bunch of teenagers under his wing. It's really funny.
yeah. So he has a plan now to handle this. So the next scene is Locke and Sabbatha are dueling, and Jean is calling out stances and maneuvers for them to handle. Sabbatha is a better duelist than Locke, but he also intentionally lets her hit him, and then just continues not to yield. At which point she's like, or either her or Jean was like, look, just because you don't give up doesn't mean that you haven't lost or that you won. It's like, hmm, okay. Sabbatha finally decides to uh, give up and yield, and she runs off angry. Father Chains now returns from the errand that he was running and calls a meeting. Um, and then Galdo's like, "Hey, Locke, why don't you just go to the Gilded Lilies and handle your business?" Um, so so you stop just having blue balls. And Locke's
Because
like,
they have been going there like all day, every day, 24/7.
"Yes, yes." It was funny because they're like, "Yeah, they love us there. Like they fight over who's gonna come for us." It's like, oh, okay, yeah, they want your money. Don't think the stripper likes you. She likes your money. Um, yeah, so Father Chains is like, hey, I'm sorry that I've allowed y'all to annoy each other to this point. I have planned for y'all to spend the summer abroad, essentially. Maybe not the summer, but a few months abroad in Aspara, which maybe Spain. Um, they're to go there together without him, and they're gonna live and work together and kind of have their Rumspringa.
Yeah,
Um, and
gonna be in a theater troupe.
yeah, the Mon Crane Company. They're going to work for free because Jasmer Moncrane desperately needs actors, but he cannot afford to pay them. Um, they are going to be performing Lucarno's Republic of Thieves. So that's where the title of this book comes from. Um, and then let's see, The Bastards Without Chains. What father plays and choose? Oh, they I guess they read plays and they study plays and choose false names. My notes here
Yeah.
says the bastards without chains, father plays and choose false names. That makes no sense. Um,
Yeah, they like they all have their little like missions. Like I think Kylo and Gallo are getting like the horses ready and stuff, and then like Sabbatha's trying to scrounge up plays, and then they're all doing it. But I think this is one of the ones where like Sabbatha notices and everybody notices that Locke is the one that's like making all the plans, so he's becoming the leader.
uh, yeah, I think it's the next one, but yeah, this is where
Yeah,
they start to realize that. Um, But yeah, Locke and Sabbatha do have a conversation in this part where she's like, or Locke asks her if she likes him. Um, and th yeah, this is where she says, I've got grievances because like nobody listens to me, but they'll listen to you. Even though I've been here longer, and you're basically taking the place of Father Chains, even to the point where you became the priest of the order as well. Like you are an initiate of the priesthood,
yeah.
kind of set
She,
up to take over for Father Chains. She kind of resents that, but she agrees to have nightly conversations uh, with Locke while they travel.
yeah, she's basically the older sibling that goes away to college and comes back, and you're like, oh, they don't like they don't listen to me as much anymore. All my siblings. It's fun.
Yeah. I did like one of the Sansa twins' names that he came up with, Beefwit Smallcock. Uh, it's like, um, okay, y'all are, or maybe that was one that somebody else named him. Uh, is this where they started, where like Sabbatha started talking about making a name for herself, or is that
I
later
think
on?
that's a little bit later, but it happens during the flashback. And
Okay.
kind of like everything with like the Suns has come up. We learn I forget which Suns that actually came up with the Throne of Kamor
Yeah,
moniker for Locke. So it's another one of those things where like she has an idea, but then Locke kind of gets it.
but he didn't really want that. We'll get into that
Yeah,
later.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Anything else in the interlude?
No. Fun setup for like a little thing. You know, good seeing the Sansa brothers. Rip them. Um, yeah. I'm
Yeah, I do
curious to
like
see.
revisiting these characters and seeing more of that relationship build. And
Yeah,
it kind of gives you a more understanding of uh, fleshes out Locke and especially Locke, but also Jean and like okay, they did have close knit relations with these other people, so they're capable of interpersonal connections. So
yeah. I'm curious to see the tie-in with the political game in the present day because I'm sure it's going to have. either direct or kind of thematic cohesion with it. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. It's the 5 year, chapter 5, the 5 year game starting position. Um, so they learned that Sabitha knew she was going to be working against Locke and Jean when she took the job. She's had a few days start already. Locke is excited to see Sabitha again, but Patience brings to question that she may not still consider herself a bastard. So, like, hey, look, I know you're excited to see her, but she may not be on the same team anymore. Um, they arrive in Carthage. They meet Nikoros Villaluppa. The names of people in Carthage are very interesting.
Yeah.
Um, it goes back to not letting people know your red name. You just come up with gray names. Um, he meets them at the dock. He's kind of like a butler, administrator, liaison. They settle on their names and learn the story told to the Deep Roots party is um, there was a shipwreck. So like everybody's like, oh, you had a shipwreck. Sorry, you lost everything. Here, we're gonna get you everything. So we get the meet the first sister. Um, well, the first of three sisters. I don't remember which sister it was. Of the Morena sisters, who are the clothiers. She starts measuring their clothes for new clothes. Apologizes. This has come up with several times where they apologize for not having a male. They usually have a male to do the measuring for the males. Um, it has also come up with several times that um, about having special sleeves and everything for the sisters, the wicked sisters,
Yep.
for Jean.
Got custom kind of clothes for his weapons, which is cool.
Yeah. Uh, let's see. In Carthage, there are elder glass suspension bridges, which is really cool. They end up at the Morena clothier shop, meet the other two sisters. They get measured again. Then before they leave, they take off the rack clothes, tailor them up just a little bit, hem them up, make them fit a little bit nicer, and send them on the way. They stop at a few other shops, one of them being getting boots. Um, Locke and Jean signal to each other to be on the lookout for Danger and Sabbatha because she probably is watching them. Um, they go through a whole lot of just business is going on here.
Yeah,
So,
they basically get set up a
yeah, they get a
lot.
scrivener. They tell Nicaros to have this scrivener write down everything. And Locke is very adamant that he writes it down on paper. Everything. They go to the counting house. Um, each of
Yeah.
them has 3,000 personal ducats. They withdraw 50 at first. Um, they do get served beer and pastries at the counting house while they're waiting for the basic banker. At the end, they find out that they don't have access to 100,000 ducats, but they do. It's kind of on the download. Like this is the unofficial, like, hey, here's 100,000 that you have access to, but it's not on the books anywhere. Um, of course, they're like, hey, nobody, like, unless I'm here and I tell you verbally, nobody has access to those funds. Like, no letter, nothing. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of this is like set up for like getting stuff because do they also go back to the bar or whatever and start like removing people and stuff? That's this section. Was that next?
yes. Wait, hold on. Yeah, like he has all the locks changed. Don't give keys to any new employees. He sets up like a lanyard system
Yeah.
for employees. But yeah, all kinds of things.
Yeah, it's a lot of like security systems he like sets in place basically.
Yeah, empty rooms around them. There was a Bond Magi that showed up and put Jean in a coma state while he told Locke that if they and Sabitha like collude, that she's going to be killed after the game is over, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah. You want a
Um,
fair game, fair match.
so after all the setting up, um, to do there were new customers in the thing, and Locke kind of played a game where he was like, they're probably just being paid. They're not really like t roughs or anything. So he goes over and insults them, and they're just like, basically they're like, yeah, we didn't sign up to fight anybody. So he paid them off and he said, no, don't show up again. The other things were they went to, or they were told about like the pens, the color of the pens, let you know the position of people, and that comes in handy in the next subsection where they have a meeting, the first party, um, when we find out that Nikaros uh, is it a dust head. They call him a dust head, some kind of basically cocaine or something.
Basically, it's like magical cocaine.
Yeah,
That like will kill you, basically.
over
Yeah.
time. Yeah,
Yeah, over time, yeah.
yeah. And so we meet first son Epitalis and no, not Damien's, something superstition.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. For
Superstition Dexa.
yeah.
Um, and those are council members that are at the thing. Some dude's writing a history book. Epitalis is giving a speech to ring in the next election game. And then Vidalos from the magistrate's court appears and serves a warrant to Jostin, who owns the place that they're at, which is like uh it's like an inn.
Yeah, it's like a
It's a little more
high-end,
than an inn, but
it's like a high-end tavern, basically.
yeah. And he's like, "Hey, you are being arrested because you haven't paid your fees for serving liquor, so this party is over." Um, and of course, it was supposed to last for 3 days, and Locke realizes this is Sabbath is working. So
Yeah, they're doing a lot of petty stuff right now. With like, he realizes that, he has somebody at the court that like misplaced the documents and things like that. Little petty grievances right now.
yeah, um, it was the scene with the party and meeting people. Um, it really reminded me of like one of the first parties that Vin showed up at in Mistborn.
Yeah.
Just meeting a whole lot of nobles and like everything. So of course I'm sitting there going, okay, who should I be paying attention to? Um, but it
Yeah. Yeah, and that situation, whenever I'm doing that stuff, I don't really try to like memorize names or anything. It's more like I try to figure out cues of like what the book is gonna tell me who's important. And it's basically like that. They're like the little host guy and kind of like the bartender owner guy. That's kind of what I got right now as like important people.
to Epitalis
Yeah, and Justin or
and
whatever.
Jostin, yeah.
Yeah,
Jostin's the name of that like graduation thing in town. Justin's.
maybe.
Uh,
Um, yeah, because like kind of Game of Thrones and stuff. And then I guess Wheel of Time kind of taught me all that. Is kind of how to like, because like Game of Thrones, you're thrown into it, and you just have like all the names of everybody, and just like I'm not gonna like stress out trying to remember everybody. They're gonna tell me who's important by later on in the book. So kind of my suggestion, because I know a lot of people get really overwhelmed with names of everybody. Just like, yeah, just chill out. You'll get told who's important.
The thing that tripped me up in like Game of Thrones, especially, is rumors from point of views in other areas of the land. Like I could be reading somebody's point of view, and like I understand what's going on. This is what's going on. And it cuts to another point of view in some other city, and they're explaining the events of what's going on. I'm like, I start second guessing my understanding. Like, wait, what? That's not what I read. It was like, it took me like I've read the whole series, I think twice, 2 or 3 times now, but it didn't click on the first one where it was like, oh, okay, yeah, they are rumors. They're inaccurate information. It's meant to be that, but as the reader what actually happened.
Yeah.
But then there's also other things that you don't have firsthand point of views of that you just hear the rumors for. So then you got to wonder, is that really what happened or is something else happening?
Yeah. It's tricky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like their little host that's like a little cokehead. He's because he seems very like amused by all the like the happenings of like oh my God, there's like pickpockets right in front of me. Oh, it's just I kind of imagine him as like a British man, like a British nobleman.
You talking about Nicaros, the guy that,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, he really does seem like a butler.
yeah. He's just like, oh, this is crazy. This is much more interesting than last year. That's really
Yeah.
funny. Uh, yeah.
Anything else on this one?
No, I'm good.
Right. Move on to the interlude, Bastards Abroad. All right, so they've set out on their journey. It starts off on the third morning of the journey, and they come upon a bandit that's hanging from the gallows. Um, and they kind of talk with the caravan leader about it, and he's like, "Yeah, this year, this time of year, we don't really have many bandits, so it's kind of we just use these gallows as mile markers essentially." Um, which they're like, well, Galdo is like, I wish there was something better than that. Um, Sabitha did not keep up her promise the previous night to have a conversation with Locke. So they end up talking outside of a village named like Tressicone or something, however that's pronounced. And she won't outright say that she doesn't like or want to be with Locke. This is where she really states the obstacles. So she didn't really mention it before. This is where she points out it's like, hey, you usurped, even though it wasn't maliciously, usurped the leadership of the bastards, and you're being groomed to replace Chains. Then they agreed to put the conversation off to later. They arrive in Aspara, and the caravan leader Vareska inspects the rest of the wagons while they're going in. We learn that Sabitha has been reading the Republic of Thieves, but her copy is missing the final act. And then throughout the other parts of the book, like certain lines are scratched out here and there. Um, she kind of imagined there's a specific line that she imagined ended, like every act ended in saying, which made her laugh. And then we get the name of we get the conversation about having grand nicknames. She wants to be called the Rose of the Marrows, and she'll basically go sail around, um, court, have affairs with rich men or single men, or sorry, rich married men or single men, rob them of their money, and then move on. And this is where the Sansa twins were like, hey, well, if she's the rose, then Locke has to be the thorn. But Locke's like, no, I don't want that name. Um, they caravan leader has to pay off the guards to overlook the contraband. And then Locke is like, hey, where's the Moncrane Company? They make their way over there in a place called Gloriano's Rooms in Solace Hill, and they meet Sylvanas, Olivio Sandrasis, Genora, and Alando Razi. And they found out that Moncrane himself has been arrested for assaulting a noble.
Yeah.
And Sylvanas is drunk. So
Yes.
we're gonna have Moulin Rouge.
Yeah. Hopefully, well, we know it ends better for the principal characters than it does in Moulin Rouge. So
We know it ends better. Oh yeah,
yeah,
okay.
because
They're both alive. Yeah,
yeah, they're both alive. Uh, that's a good
yeah.
movie.
It is a
Yeah.
really good movie. Dude, I didn't know what to expect the first time I watched it, and I think I watched it twice in the same day. Butterfly Effect. Sorry, this is just another
Okay.
side, but it made me like so Butterfly Effect when I first watched it, I was like, what the fuck? I think I watched it 3 times in the first day that I watched it. Like because I rewatched it like 2 more times that day because I was just like, this is like tripping me out. But um yeah, anyway, no more Butterfly Effect stuff. How do you feel about that interlude?
Yeah, I mean, it sets up the plot for the flashbacks nicely. Maybe a jailbreak or something interesting for their little away trip, away mission. Yeah, I mean, it's just more you know, relationship building between Locke and Sabbatha. So
Yeah. Now, were they told not to um like steal or anything while they're there, or were they? I
no,
feel like Father Chains kind of told them like, "Hey, y'all are gonna go off on your own and do, put into practice all the things that I've been teaching you, but you're also going to be actors."
yeah, I think he wants them to like trial by fire, like do a job by themselves without his supervision.
And the company was basically a front, a facade for it, right?
Basically, kind of what I got. He's like, y'all are relying too much on me, like giving you directions. You need to figure out your own initiative and get your like, for lack of a better word, like chain of command online and stuff. So y'all stop bickering at each other and driving me up the wall, which is fun.
Yeah. All right.
I'm curious if Father Chains is gonna die in the flashbacks in this book or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I am interested. We didn't find out how he died, right?
No, no, we
Okay.
haven't found out how he did. I wonder if he
I want
gets
to see that.
caught. That'd be interesting.
If he got caught
Yeah,
and hung.
yeah.
Hmm, hmm.
We'll have to see.
All right. All right. The final chapter in this section, chapter 6, the 5-year game, change of venue. So in the morning, um, or sorry, not in the morning. Uh, Still at the party, Locke pulls aside Jostin and is like, "Hey, look, did are you 100% sure you paid up?" He's like, "Yeah, I paid up." He goes, "All right. Well then," he makes up some bullshit about needing a magistrate, and that Vidalos can't take away Jocelyn tonight. And he's like, "Hey, while you're here, why don't you have a drink?" He says, "Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna have a drink. I guess what you said is right." So then he plans to be at the magistrate's court at opening to speak with Capability Paralysis, and try to buy her off to say the papers were just misplaced. We found them, which of course she was already paid off to say that they lost them. So
She's making out like a man.
yeah, um, just like that yellow jacket in the flashback that got paid off by 3 people, Locke, Sabbatha, and then Father Chains. So Locke tells Nikoros that he has to be at his room an hour before. But he actually shows up like a few hours before, like at 5, and it's like, "Hey, my office has been closed by a rat finders for supposedly a suckle spider infestation, and they're just like fumigating the place." Um, Luckily, like the scribe was out, so they're not collecting all the papers and all these things. Um, then Locke, for some reason, at 5 a.m. orders coffee, but Nicaros goes to sleep for a few hours before they head over there. I mean, essentially, they pay Paralis a year's worth of salary every week, um, not to interfere with the Deep Roots party. They're like, look, you don't have to work, you don't have to do things against the other party, but just don't mess with us. Uh, on the way out, um, oh, I forgot. They had bumped into a lady on the way in who was like, "Hey, watch where you're going." And on the way back, they come out, and now that lady's like, "Hey, there they are. They stole my purse." Um, and so Locke and Jean give signs because he like feels he's like, "Oh shit, yeah." She slipped it in there. Um, and so they do a play where they bump in. He's like pretending to puke, so he bumps into the guard, steals the guard's purse, makes it over to the lady, places the guard's purse and her purse back into her pocket. Sean's like, they empty their pockets and they're like, "Hey, why don't you check hers?" So they check it as like, "Hey, but what are you doing with mine?" Um, and they go away. She did say that the purse had GB on it, which would be gentlemen bastards. Um, Locke finds a note um, from the uh, it was signed whatever Galette or whatever her name was, her false name
Yeah.
from the players, the play that they did in Aspara. He's like, "Oh shit, that was her. Oh, that's cool." So anyway, Locke then bribes the rat finder with not just bribes, they has to take threats as well. Um, let's see.
Yep.
They go.
It requests a meeting. Some note. I don't know if you said that.
Oh, the note was a request
Yeah,
for a meeting with him. Yes. Um, sorry.
you're
He
good.
They go back to Jostin's, and they're getting a lot of the reports in about different activities around the city, about prospective council candidates. He returns and they brief all the bruisers and the new workers on how things are going to work around there. Um, see, Jean said he was going for a shave, get his head shaved, and he took longer than expected. Jean's like, "Hey, you went out looking for her, didn't you?" He goes, "Yeah, I didn't find her though."
Yeah.
And Locke starts freaking out about how he looks in the news clothes, and Jean's like, "Dude, you didn't even know these types of clothes existed until this now. So why are you like freaking out about how you look and what you like?" He's like, "You want to look nice for her, don't you?" It's like, "Yeah." So they go out and meet her at the sign of the Black Iris, which I thought it was like I didn't think sign was part of the name of the place. It was just like, "Hey, there's a sign and it's for the Black Irises. Go meet by it." And I'm like, "Oh, that's a weird place to meet," but it's actually like a location. Um, they bring into the private dining room and lock Jean and Sabitha catch up with hugs. And then Sabitha's like, "Hey, Jean, can you step out and let us have a moment alone?" He's
Well,
like, "Well, what if
more
there's..."
important. Yeah. I was gonna say more importantly, she doesn't greet Locke with a hug. She greets Jean with a hug. It makes Locke jealous.
I did not write that note.
Yeah.
But yeah. and then asks Jean to leave, and Jean's like, "Wait, hold on, you're our opposition now. Like, you could kill him." Like, and he makes a joke about there being 20 men in the other room, I think she does. She made the joke about, well, if there's 20 men in the other room, then we'll just whatever. Turns out there were 20 men in the other room that beat Jean up while
Yeah. Do you
Sabbatha
want
and Locke kind of caught up about their last 5 years.
do you want to get to that now? I I thought you could they couldn't like do direct actions against each other, but whatever. I was just like, oh, okay, weird. I thought that was off limits.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's gray area.
Yeah, I guess that's a great. It was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it is kind of funny. She's like, what? You think I have like 20 men back there? Turns out she did.
Yeah. So um, they do catch up. Locke and Sabbatha catch up over the activities of the last 5 years, um, and finds out that almost almost like a similar situation of the Bonds Magi saving Locke's life by getting rid of the poison. They're like, "Hey, Sabbatha, we know you're in deep with this Graf Kuldaros group. We can make all of that disappear. We just need you to do this." And there was an offer she couldn't refuse. They also knew, or she also, they told her, it's like, hey, and we're also planning on getting Locke and Jean to do the other party. She still accepted it. Then she's like, all right, can we stop talking and like get to business now? He's like, yeah. She's like, all right, well, kiss me the way you used to. And of course, she puts something on her neck, um, and makes him pass out. And Locke and Jean wake up on a prison ship that's floating in the Amethyl. And it'll probably be a planned few weeks before they get back. Like 2 weeks after the election is over, is
Yeah,
when they're supposed to conveniently show back up in Carthage.
yeah, yeah. It was fun getting her reaction to, um, like basically all the events of books 1 and 2. Um, and like I was wondering if Bug came after she left. We get confirmation of that. Um,
Yeah,
and
he
this is
did
where,
show up after she left, and
yeah,
Locke's like, "You would have liked this guy. He was little."
yeah, um, yeah. And this is where we get the thing where like she saw Locke kind of becoming Father Chains and not really having like an ambition of his own or anything like that. Just kind of like, uh, she wanted kind of more interesting things and just kind of like be a priest of Paralandra that does weird shit. She wanted to do something else, and she saw Locke kind of falling into that trappings of what Father Chains did. So and that's one of the reasons she left. So yeah, it's fun. She's a really good femme fatale. Um, she's also uh, she's been working, so she's pretty good with the blade, unlike Locke. She digs at him about that, which is fun. But anyway, yeah, like this is like I said, like this is like the type of stuff I really like. It's when like these two characters meet and get this like really good tension-filled conversations and stuff. Which we That's not really what books 1 and 2 are about. It's more like the plans and the schemes and stuff, which is fun. But I'm enjoying this kind of change of pace. Um, this
Yeah, I mean, I like good romance stuff. I'm not big. I mean, if if you're into smut romance or whatever, what's the term these days? Um, God,
romance novels.
romanticy. There you go,
Yeah,
romanticy. Um, I like good love stories. And a little bit of romance. Like Yumi and the Nightmare Painter is, I think, my guiltiest pleasure in the Cosmere. Um, it's cheesy as fuck. Um, but I like the love interest um playing on each other in that book. Um, and here I like this. I mean, I got a thing for redheads. Um, so having a character, a female character that the male character is in love with. Uh, I guess
Yeah.
I can relate with Locke there. Like, yep, dude, I'd be in a boat without a paddle too, buddy.
Yeah, I did like it. She was like, "Yeah, I like dyed my hair and went around so much that like my natural color is like not known." That was funny because she's still a redhead. Yeah, I mean you're getting your romanticy on with some Throne of Glass. It's very much romanticy.
Yeah,
So
well, I haven't started Crown of Midnight yet, but I do plan on getting around to
yes,
that.
still need to do this the Crown of Midnight episode. I'll probably record that this weekend. I say that every weekend, so just need to do it.
Yeah, I got to
Um,
get the other one out too. I
yeah,
just gotta. I watched up to the point where you're like, "Hey, all right, if you haven't read any of the other books, stop here." So I'm like, "Okay." I stopped there.
no, I mean, go into. I don't think it'll spoil anything. I don't remember what I said, but
Yeah, I'm just not gonna read it yet or listen to it yet. So
I mean, it will go through the entire series, so you'll. But yeah,
no, yeah, I'll watch the next one.
yeah,
Yeah. So all right. The last little bit, Intersect 2, Tender. Um, basically, Cold Marrow is talking to the other Bonds Magi and states that Locke and Jean will probably not be kept on the boat for long.
yeah,
The opposition kind of said that they were kind of let down by Locke and Jean, and he's like, well, they probably won't be gone as long. Which the tone of this makes me seem like Cold Marrow likes them.
yeah,
Um, let's see. Because he's like, we thought they did very well up to their meeting with your exemplar. Uh, it's like if that it's that meeting with our exemplar that inspires a certain lack of foreboding on our part. They'll be back soon enough. Like, so I don't know if like I don't can't tell if Cold Marrow is actually because the previous one it seemed like he was like, ah, I let it go on too far. Like it was my fault, and but I have to let this happen now. Sorry, but we're gonna get back to our original plan or something. That was kind of like the feel of the previous Intersect I got. On this one, it seems like Cold Mirror is like, hey, these dudes are pretty legit. Like I'm impressed. Like they may pull this off.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Uh, we shall see. Maybe they'll just take a dive and well, they can't because then she will die. So, uh, yeah, there was also a little bit of stuff for the like Emberlane stuff that she was talking about, which was cool. I'm pretty sure the next book four is in Emberlane, so she's talking she was talking about her travels there and how like there's gonna be like civil war and stuff. And he's like, "Yeah, I know. They always said there's gonna be civil war." And she's like, "No, it's fixing to happen." So,
okay.
because isn't the book four like the Thorn of Emberlane or something like that?
I think that might be. Yeah, the Thorn of Emberlane is the name of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So
Look at you.
yeah, maybe it's some little setup for that book four,
Yeah.
which would be cool. Yeah, it's fun.
All
Uh,
right. I didn't write a page number down, but let's see here. Happenings in Happenings in Bedchambers is. the name of the chapter or interlude that we get to next. So, let's see. Where is it?
Do we read through that or stop at the
Stop at that. It's an interlude titled "Happenings in Bedchambers." In this book, that copy of the book I have, you'll end at page 498.
yeah, okay. Doesn't seem to be that big of a section, so that'd be fun.
It's about 150 pages. So, and that will be the third part, and then the next one will be the end. So,
Yeah.
um,
And
that will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I think the next interlude is titled "The Mon Crane Company." Yeah, so we get to learn more about the Mon Crane Company and see them possibly start to be players on
and
in the theater. So
that'd be fun.
yeah. All right, if you made it this far, thank you and congratulations. Give yourself a big round of applause. You've listened to two grown men talk about a book or a section of a book for an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Something tells me this might not be the first time you've done that, so you may have a problem. But all problems aren't bad. Some problems are good, so keep coming back. Smash that like button. Share with your friends and family. Share with your enemies too, if you think that they would be tortured by this. Um, let's see. Leave a comment if you want. Like it, share it. I said that. Leave a rating or a review anywhere that you can. All these things help us get this out. And again, send us questions that you may have for Scott Lynch. We do plan on having him in a few more weeks. We'll have him on the podcast. And we plan on asking him all sorts of questions. Maybe we'll get some answers, but maybe we'll be told that they're going to be coming in future books.
Yeah. Should
So
be fun.
I wonder if he'll give us a raffle. Um,
Yeah.
it'd be cool if we got something cool like a preview reading for book 4. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Not gonna put high hopes up for that, but don't want to put any pressure on him. Just have him on and have fun.
Yeah. But think of some fun questions. So.
Yeah. Speaking of readings, though, Brandon Sanderson was at was it Worldcon this weekend, and he did a preview reading from Era 4 or Era 3 of Mistborn. Era 3 of Mistborn. And I got to listen to that. So that was
Spoiled you.
fun. Didn't spoil me.
I mean, technically you did.
Yeah, but I mean, you spoil yourself when you start reading a book anyway. So
Is it just Wit being dumb again, or
I couldn't tell you if Wit was in the section or not.
No? Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you if he was in it or not, but I am excited about where Mistborn is going. So, but that's not related to this book, but I mean, it's related to our podcast. So. But all right, anyway, sorry I'm rambling on here. Go visit our sponsor, Mudcat Whiskers, www.mudcatwhiskers.com. Use code Paperweights at checkout to save yourself 15%. And we will see you back here next week. Bye.
Bye.